increasing emphasis on climate change mitigation and adaptation plans adopted by governments places greater importance on renewable energy projects.
We have one of the leading banks in Egypt gathering actually other banks in order to understand better, not only in terms of education and training, but also in terms of how we're going to apply that in our daily work.
I definitely think MOSTADAM is a great initiative in Egypt that is aimed at empowering and educating bankers and financiers about the advantages of sustainable finance.
Thanks to Egypt's strategic location, the abundance of sunlight and wind resources, Egypt is considered a very attractive destination for renewable energy projects.
MOSTADAM initiative is a paradigm shift. It helps us so much in complying with international standards and makes us more competitive in terms of governance, social impact of companies, and environmental impact as well.
Sustainability reflects a profound understanding that finance should be integrated with social, environmental, and governance issues.
And it's beneficial if we understand it and know how to apply it.
We could have avoided all these problems, all these issues in Egypt if we have implemented MOSTADAM principles.
Without the vision of sustainability, banks won't be able to operate in the future.
The fact that we need to look at things more long-term or in a more sustainable fashion.
MOSTADAM initiative is new trend, new experience, new knowledge.
To push the economy forward and move to the next level.
It's the core concept in organizing Egypt's 2030 vision.
This sector has the upper hand on making government and making companies and making institutions change their policies and procedures.
It will make us use our subsidized fund in a very efficient and creative way.
I think the banking sector can enforce the sustainability through two-way communication with the government.
It's not about enforcement, it's about being convinced to apply this for the sake of the economy and the society in general.
The role of banks is to educate people,
including financial institutions, governments, lawyers, etc.
So our education through MOSTADAM will not only help the employees, but it will help the executive management as well.
Definitely MOSTADAM can help us in two different aspects. The first one is fundraising, and the other thing is adding value to our portfolio companies.
We can apply the learning from this course tomorrow morning through financing the SMEs, which is a great sector now in the economy.
I can tailor to my clients the loans in a way that meets the social and environmental challenges.
Because we are a Sharia compliant finance, where the Islamic finance is one of the values of the MOSTADAM.
We've started reflecting the MOSTADAM principles or the sustainability principles in our day-to-day operations with our clients. For example, a certain plant is compliant with the environment.
I believe the MOSTADAM platform is a great movement, not just in a local aspect, but in a global aspect in which it will help shape thriving and sustainable economies in the future.
So I see our bank engaging in the sustainable development by choosing savvy environmental suppliers, by using recycled materials, by engaging in social events.
Example of implementation is mainly building checklists and standards, integrating those standards into our manuals.
environmental standards like pollution, CO2 emissions, water consumption.
How do we draft our policies and regulations? How do we have our management understand that we can really do business?
Since employees are the implementers of sustainability, so I have to start embedding it within the culture. Afterwards, I'm going to transmit the wider culture to the clients, shareholders, wider community, environment, and so on.
Actually, there's a big part of the MOSTADAM initiative that could be applied easily starting tomorrow. For example, I never noticed the high importance of the recycling process. I noticed that it has a huge impact on the cost reduction, and it will result with a very, very positive impact.
Number one, reduce cost. Number two, reduce operational risk and enhance or improve business.
I believe MOSTADAM made me change the way I think, the way I'm going to analyze companies.
MOSTADAM initiative has resulted in a mini paradigm shift to me personally, because at Alex Bank we're changing our professional way of doing CSR into more of business and CSR. So we're doing financial inclusion programs, we're trying to see how companies want to invest in people, how companies can actually do CSR with banks, and I think that MOSTADAM today has given me the tools to go and apply that.
I'd recommend and advise all the banks to send more candidates to the MOSTADAM platform, especially for the sustainable finance. It changed my life, especially my career.
MOSTADAM has changed my mindset into maybe considering myself as a change agent in the bank.
Increased my awareness, especially in terms of decreasing my carbon footprint.
It's me against the world. It will be implemented sooner or later.
I believe the detailed coursework, the real-life case study, and the sufficient online tests made sure that the topics covered were well digested.
Real cases, real business studies, real examples of companies that have changed their policies and procedures in order to take loans.
I'm actually looking forward working with the financial community, engaging together to add value.